The moment you start to focus on how many songs can I do per month, then you're putting another type of pressure that is just fracturing your attention. And your attention, when it comes to creative writing, in my opinion, should be only on that creative act and nothing else. Because if it is focused on something else, it's not reaching its potential. Hello, everybody. So today we're going to talk about creative writing. And I'm very excited about this video. And I also want to thank so much Neville because he sparked this idea within me to talk about it, because he asked some question about creative writing and about what questions am I asking myself when I do creative writing so that it is productive. It was under one of my videos also about journaling. I'm gonna put it here somewhere or under this video. You will find it definitely. This will be very much, I believe, abstract way of explaining something. But when it comes to creativity, how can you have anything in order? How can you have a specific system that could be used on every person just the same way? And therefore, just a disclaimer, this is only my way of doing it, my way of maybe differentiating some stuff about creative writing, even my own definition, even though I have looked it up so that I could, make a solid point in here. And yeah, I do have some tips also from acting classes because I love also acting, and it is a life, not life changer, but it is a life improver. Like literally going for an acting class will help you maybe more than one therapy session, but maybe not. Maybe it's just me. I want to say about creative writing that it is part of my practice in journaling. I love to journal so much. I already said it. I've journaled over a decade right now. It's gonna be like 14 years. And it has saved me from being closed to the world. It has saved me from being full of limiting beliefs, and it saved me from keeping my behavior that was self-destructive. I don't know where I would be if I didn't journal, but I know that I wouldn't be on such a good place as I'm right now by confidence, by the way I think in my head. My head is like, if you looked into my head, it is a Disneyland. Sometimes we're crying. The stuff is crying sometimes here, but they know why they're crying, and they're crying just for a while, and then they're happy again because I'm keeping my brain and I'm keeping my overall state on the frequency of gratitude and of abundance and of those energies that are attracting other people, that will give you expansion. That's why many opportunities will automatically just literally jump into your lap. But nothing goes without any work, and neither does this. So, creative writing, what is that? I would define it as your authentic self expression. I would differentiate creative writing into two, let's say, subcategories. The first one would be the one that will be seen or might be seen by other people, like some form of art. And the other one, it would be for yourself, your pure self expression. I'm definitely not planning to, show anyone this artwork. You might ask why, but I'm not going to answer. I'm just going to say that I'm not going to publish that. If I'm angry about something, this helps. Trust me. This is for me an invitation to break off limits from my own brain, because in a school you were not raised to write a beautiful paper and then just scratch it all over, but you can do that, like free will. And so it is practice of permission, I would say. And sometimes it's really helping me to look on situation or to look on anything that I want to create from a different angle. And also that reminds me of this book from Rick Rubin, The Creative Act. And I'm going to also say a lot of things that is in this book. because Rick Rubin is putting creative process in the most sweet and beautiful words, and in the most, let's say, this book feels like a hug for a creative person. So if you want to check it out, definitely do, because it is like reassurance in one place. This is full reassurance of the fact that you don't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be amazing. It doesn't have to be your best work. The next work doesn't have to be your best work, and stuff like that. And this gives me this permission of writing and of just doing anything into my journal. This gives me this permission of being rebellious, because nothing new will be created if you stay in the same line. And so I need to do this in order to show myself, okay, what are actually the limits? Like, it's like if you are having like blindfold, and you are just touching, and you're exploring where else you can go, and then you can find more interesting venues and more interesting environment in yourself, basically. And so that's the second way of how to do creative writing. And the first one, when it comes to questions, what I ask myself to have a productive creative session, I mean, I do have 3 questions that I've taken from acting class, and it really helps. I mean, it helps, especially when it comes to expressing verbally something. That could mean either doing some replics, but it also means doing presentation in a very important meeting, because these questions are, it's very easy. It's not easy, it's simple. It's ridiculously simple, actually. Who am I? So that means, like, this question, we can talk literally for 10 minutes about just this question. Who am I on this video? I'm someone, I'm a random girl that is trying to make other people more confident, and that is trying to make other people inspired and dare to do what they really love to do. Now I know what is my intention here. If it comes to when it comes to writing and creative writing, like, who am I? And also, what I want to say is that everything, when you ask questions, you always have to know where you're coming from. Otherwise, you can't answer that question, or answer that question as your true self. And so that's what really grounds me down, is to read every day my reminders. I do have my reminders, and I read them every day. It is in a form of affirmation. And so, who am I? For me, I treat this as reading reminders. I do have reminders here in the journal, right next to my goals, and I read them every day. And I cannot stress how super important it is to read goals every day. It is a game changer. Like, it takes you 1 minute, literally 1 minute, not even that, and you basically operate differently. You operate as someone who has a direction, and not like someone who's just, trying to go somewhere. No, you just do have your own goal, and you're just going there, and the life gets very simple all of a sudden, because you just know when to say no and when to say yes. But that's I'm digressing. Reminders. So reminders will help you to answer as the person who you want to become. Therefore, you will keep yourself all the time in this frequency and in this state of mind of the person that you want to become. And so you're basically manifesting it. Like, this is literally how the manifesting process works, if you want to call it manifestation. If not, you can just call it like, you're the director, you're directing your future, and you're directing where you're going. And the second one is, why am I going there? And this is obviously for actors, but or someone who is presenting something. So that means, why am I going there? Like, maybe I want to invite them to do something that could help them in their health. Maybe I want to join me for an amazing experience, because it will help them in their confidence. maybe I want them to buy this because I know that it will help them. And I genuinely know it. I don't want to make them buy it because I would get provision. I genuinely believe that this product will make their lives better and is more valuable than the money that they will give me. And so that is when you present. But when it comes to creative writing, why am I going there? Why am I sitting here in front of this paper? And this could be a very, very simple answer, like, I just feel sad, or I feel that I am overwhelmed, or I feel so happy, I need to express it, or I really need and I want to write and or finish this song, or I don't know. You can answer, I don't know, whatever. It's creative writing. There's really no. See, I didn't even want to put any questions in this because creative writing in its essence should be so free. It should feel like you're 5 years old and you're going to the Disneyland and you are just running around and you don't care about anything but your joy. And so, yeah, like, I don't want to put some limitations on this. But if you really want, or if you are starting acting career, you can use these questions because it's really genuinely awesome if you answer them like you really care. And so why am I going there? Very, very simple answer. Or you can write, or you can just basically think about it. Like, who am I? Okay, good. Why am I going there? All right, I do have that. And the third question is, what do I want to say? What do I want to pass along? As answering these questions or the rest of the questions to the creative writing that might be published, why am I going there? Maybe you want to say something important that you see that's wrong in the society right now, or and you really want to remind yourself how important it is for you, because then in your writing, like, I feel like writing is just expression of a soul, because you're literally expressing it from your hands and from you. Like, it's no AI. It's no, please don't let creative writing become AI. It's actually impossible for now, at least, um, because it doesn't have the soul. And if you are charged with your own emotions about something, about discrimination or racism, or if you are super delighted and blissful about something that happened in your life and you just want to express it, the second question will make you realize that, like, damn, it's really that important. Okay, so let me get to work. And then you're also more motivated because you see the bigger vision. You see that it's bigger than you. Then it stops being about you. And therefore, you don't care how people will actually react, because your ego is not present here because it's bigger than you. And the third question, what do I want to say? Well, that is partially connected to the second question. Like, I want to say that everyone deserves equal opportunity to do something, or I want to say that there is such a beautiful world if we look on the right places, or I want to say that I love my mom. Something that you just want to say. I usually ask them only if I'm, for example, coming up with a song. If my goal is to write a song, then I might ask that, because it is already not spontaneous. It is like, it is very conscious. It is like, okay, now I'm sitting down to write a song. But usually when I do write something, I do it on my phone when I'm traveling, and I just get this beat, or I get this idea in my mind. And so I record it either on a voice note, or I write it in my notes. There is no structure, and usually that's the pure creativity. As Michael Jackson had this muse or something, the fact that he got an idea and then he immediately started to work on it. There is something to it. Like, there's no surprise and there's no coincidence that he is, and he will be for a long time, even though he's not here anymore physically. He will be one of the best artists ever, because he understood something different. He wasn't burdened with any questions. He was just having this uncontrollable urge to create it. You have to have your point of view on life, and you can't borrow anyone's point of view. It will be visible. Like, we will feel it. You're not genuine with that. And that's why morning pages journaling in general. It's like getting to know yourself and putting a mirror in front of you. And the last part that Neville asked was productivity. Maybe the most productive session of creative writing is the one where you just forgot what the word productivity means. It's really just about you and you and you and maybe the audience, but on the first, on the pedestal, it's you, because you are the one who has created something, and therefore you are the one that, when you focus on productivity, the moment you start to focus on how many songs can I do per month, then you're putting another type of pressure that is just fragmenting and fracturing your attention. And your attention, when it comes to creative writing, in my opinion, should be only on that creative act and nothing else. Because if it is focused on something else, it's not reaching its potential, because you're putting even 5% on the fact that you should be productive. You don't have to be productive. And actually, it's amazing to say to yourself, like, it is okay to do something that is bad. Actually, Rick Rubin is talking about it. We want to sometimes do stuff intentionally bad, because is it bad? Like, maybe we say to ourselves, this is horrible. Like, this thing, what I did, the text, what I've written down, or the screenplay, it's worth absolutely nothing. But you never know who would love it. And yeah, this is my take on it. Again, thank you so much, Neville, for asking me this question, actually, and to making space for something that I believe is super freeing for the souls of every person, or especially for the people that are creative in core, and that feel it, and that need to be creative, and that they're finally honest about being creative. To summarize it somehow, because I don't know if I wasn't jumping from one thing to another, creative writing for me means mainly the writing that might get published, the writing that you use in screenplay, you use when you write lyrics, writing fiction and stuff like that. And then for me, also, creative writing means that I'm just absolutely free in writing into my journal. I can do whatever the heck I want. I can, make some doodling. I can write some flowers, or just very, very, just anything that I feel like. I can scratch any paper I want. I can write and paint with coffee if I want. And this helps me to give my brain permission to go further, to look on then the creative writing that might get published from a more audacious perspective. And yeah, I don't use that often, though. I use more morning pages for that, because morning pages also give me the sense of flow, and that is the most important thing when it comes to creative writing. The question I ask myself when I do, usually when I do a song, that I sit down and I really say to myself, okay, now I want to write a song. So the questions are, who am I? It's not easy to answer that when you think about it more thoroughly. Like, it is not that easy to answer it. And usually, who am I would connect it with beliefs as an answer. Why am I going there? Like, why am I going to write a song right now? Why am I going there to the meeting room? And what do I want to pass along? What message do I want to share with the audience? Again, you can be your own audience. You don't have to think about other people. You don't have to think about your mom. You don't have to think about your teacher from the elementary school. You don't have to think about anyone. You can just think about yourself as your audience. in the first place, you should be always your audience, the first person that listens to it, because that is the taste. That's the answer, if you like it or not. Like, you should be always your first audience, in my opinion. Like, you want to publish something that you can stand for, so you have to be always your first, let's say, advisor or judge that will say, yeah, this is amazing, or this is crap. And yeah, ask these questions if you need some guidance. Otherwise, I wouldn't ask them, because then these questions also give you some certain limitation to your creative process. What I would do instead, maybe, is just 10 minutes in silence, like a substitution for any answer or any question. Because usually you're not asking any questions in there, but you get so many answers just from the silence. And it also broadens your attention span. That's important. And yeah, so that's basically it. And also, don't take it seriously. Creative writing is not serious, and the one that is, or the one that is written like it is serious, it is just manufactured performance, and I don't feel that it's genuine. What is the most genuine thing? It's if you're not thinking about anything else but the emotion that you feel when writing it. That's when the text gets to a different level. And I'm also, in the process myself. I'm also trying to get mainly into the moment, and to mainly think about the emotion when I write it. And that is basically everything that I would say about creative writing. Um, Definitely, we could, speak about each of these questions for 10 minutes more for each question, or we can speak about what is taste actually, how a taste is developed. And yeah, but I'm gonna leave it there. If you have any other questions, or if you have any follow-up questions, I'll be more than happy to answer them and to have a discussion with you guys. And yeah, we're going to see each other in the next video. Stay absolutely awesome, and stay in the moment when you are doing any type of writing. Bye.